Hey everyone, so there's a beautiful background behind me, and that is because I am at my son's wedding celebration this week in New York. Hope everyone's doing well. I was just going to briefly follow up from the last video I had done. Just in reference to surgery, major surgery. I know many of you who experience cancer have experienced major surgery. It usually goes along with it. And so I had left off where I'd woken up in the recovery room, and then I had started basically my inpatient recovery, leaving ICU and doing the hard work of recovery, having to get up and walk and do those things. But my first surgery, everything was new, and I was motivated to, I knew I was cancer free. It took a week to get pathology back, but it showed that they had gotten all the cancer. You know how cancer is 10 years later. I would be facing a major recurrence with metastatic cancer and be in a hospital, Lenox Hill Hospital in Manhattan, close to Sloan, doing what I thought would be an end-of-life journey, given a 5% survival rate. But that wasn't so with my first surgery. So I was recovering at Memorial Sloan Kettering. I don't know how you do recovery. I was in pain, and getting up and walking was part of it. But again, there's that aspect of taking it one day at a time, one moment at a time, and trying not to be discouraged. A lot of men after the surgery I had, radical cystectomy, experienced discouragement and depression, which happens later on, just because of the traumatic change to the body that happens with that, and just loss of certain functions. So I was just experiencing getting up, doing those things. I didn't know what to expect, but tubes and catheters and all that stuff. And there would be some moments in the hospital at Sloan Kettering during those 3.5 weeks, such as having to have drainage tubes installed because of ascites, and actually meeting. This was an interesting meeting, and I know those of you who've been in hospitals for a long time, you bring yourself into the situation, and at times I'm pretty introverted, but there's other times too when I feel like God wants me to say something, and I'm not a preachy kind of guy. But I was in line to have an ascites tube, drainage tube placed, intervention radiology, and my gurney was next to a young woman who was shaking, and her mom was over her head, and her mom had said her colon had been removed. I don't know how much because of cancer. I'm talking about a young person. And so I just felt led to hold this young woman's hand and pray for her, both of us lying next to each other. And so there were moments like that, right, where you feel led to minister, and not in a prideful way, but in really a humble, how can I come alongside and do this journey with you? I think that's when my first sort of initiation into, and my first desire to partner with people as they were going through this journey came. It came during that first surgery, and watching people struggle, suffer, and knowing what that felt like. Now I was part of that crew, so wanting to come alongside and help people. And so it was. I'll pick it up again tomorrow about my stay down there. Okay, hope you're well. Thank you. Bye.